Sometimes I really wonder what goes on inside some people's heads. Sometimes I really wonder. I look at clubs, I look at presidents, I look at managers, I look at players when they play. I'm like, what goes on in their head when they're making this decision? What goes on? What's happening in their head? Because there's some things that's common sense, right? Because let's say you're 2-on-1, you see a player in front of you, you're passing to the player so he can score, right? Let's say you're a coach, you see a player scoring 5 goals for 3 games straight, you're starting that player, but sometimes he's benched, right? You see a manager, you see not a manager, you see a president who and a sporting director who have the chance of getting one of the top talents in the world. Like Rashford, he's I know he's out of form right now, but when he's on form, he's a top talent. You have the chance of giving him the perfect manager for his playstyle, the perfect manager which he can thrive in, and you decide to. It now depends on Barca, so it depends on us, okay? If we want to get Rashford on a loan deal, not even for 48 million on a no, on a loan deal, it depends on us. There's no agreement with Man United yet. Another option is Christopher Nkunku. Nkunku, Christopher Nkunku, in the Big 25. This club never learns. This club never learns from their mistake. It doesn't matter if we're financially getting more stable and stable. The decisions we make with this club is just as bad as signing Coutinho for 145 million. What's going on here? Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, you think you know more ball knowledge than the president, you think you know more ball knowledge than the coach. How are you going to talk about this? Guys, if that was true, there would be no such thing as a flop signing. There would be no such thing as a flop signing if the manager and the president always knew above the casuals, always knew above the people that just watch. There would be no such thing as a flop signing. And if we Christopher Nkunku is nowhere the player that Barcelona need. Not for the system, not for the manager, not for the tactics, not for the position, nothing. There's no checklist that Christopher checks out. What does he check out? The pressing, he's not a hard worker. We've seen him in training. We've seen him everything. He's not a hard worker. While Rashford, he can press. Rashford can press. Rashford is fast. And Flick can make him to what an X factor on the ball. Christopher Nkunku, he's not even the position we need. We need a natural left winger. We've seen Christopher Nkunku try left wing for Chelsea. That has not worked out. We've seen him in Leipzig where he plays as a second striker, as a cam, and that works out. But we're not going to do the same mistake. Are we going to do the same mistake like we did with Coutinho, like we did with Griezmann, where they play second striker and camp, but we decided we were going to put them as a left winger? And we all know what happened to them. We signed them for 1 million plus, and we put 100 million plus, and we put them at the left wing, and they're massive flops because they don't play left wing. They don't play left wing. That's not their positions. It's clear and obvious. If you're trying to sign a pure left winger to fit your system like Marcus Rashford, you cannot be going for players like Christopher Nkunku who are naturally second strikers and are not comfortable on the left wing. Just because they can play in the left wing doesn't mean they're not. Just because they can play in the left wing doesn't mean like they're naturally comfortable, especially in a Hansi Flick system where we want direct wingers, and Christopher Nkunku is not a direct winger. He's a runner in behind, and that's all he is. So how are we leaving out Rashford? I would rather Luis Diaz than Christopher Nkunku because Luis Diaz is a natural left winger. I know the signing is crazy, the price is crazy, and that's why I don't want Luis Diaz. But Barcelona, again, they're still stuck on him. So if we're targeting Rashford, why are we're targeting Rashford, okay? And Rashford wants us. Why has this deal taken so long to complete? Why has this deal taken so long to get through the line? Because Matteo Almani, 2 or 3 years ago when he was at Barca, he signed Lewa, he signed Kunde, he signed Christensen, he signed Gundogan, he signed who else did he sign? He signed Eric Garcia, and it was all quick. As soon as the rumors saying we're targeting them, 1 day later, here we go, Kunde signed, here we go, Lewa signed. And now we have even more, a way better financial state than we used to. By the way, we signed Kunde and Leo in the same window. That's way more than we spent just now. So it's not a money problem, okay? It's not a money problem. It can be a registration problem, but it's not a money problem. We can afford these signings. Because if we could afford it 2-3 years ago, how can't we afford it now? It doesn't make sense unless Joan Laporta is hiding something from us, which we don't know, which he's known for, because I've been hearing that we're going to be in the 1-for-1 rule for the whole last 3 years, last 2 years. Oh, Barcelona are in the 1-for-1 rule. Joan Laporta always comes out every single time he does a press conference or he does an interview. He says, oh yeah, Barcelona, 1-for-1 rule. Easy, easy. Next summer, Haaland. Next summer, Alvarez. Next summer, Lea. Like every time he says we're back in the 1-for-1 rule, but we're struggling to get registered players. And meanwhile, Javier Tebas is saying, oh no, they're not in the 1-for-1 rule. They still need to do more things. And now we need 8 million more for the 1-for-1 rule. But we sold Ansu Fati for 8 million, so we're back. Everything is just chaotic at this club. Everything is chaotic at this club. So not only is it a mistake for targeting Christopher Nkunku, and I don't even know how much he would cost. Maybe we probably would get him for like 50 million. Which, bro, if we're considering Rashford on loan or Nkunku for 50 million, it's clear and obvious who the better player is, who the better fit is, and who the cheaper option is. Like, come on. No way. This one also bothers me a lot. If you guys don't know who this guy is, this is Cospo, okay? Cospo, he's a guy in La Masia. He plays for the U19 team. He plays for Barcelona B. He is as talented as it can get. The people inside the club are calling him the next Kubarsi for a reason. People rate him so highly. He's an amazing center back. He's super tall. He's so good on the ball. And every time I watch a comp of him, I'm like, bro, this guy looks insane. He's so calm. He's so composed, and he's a warrior too. He dives in for every tackle and he times it right. Like his IQ is elite. Guess how much we just sold him, by the way, okay? We just sold with no buyback clause. No buyback clause. A talented center back like him with no buyback clause. This guy and Kubarsi could have been the future duo that we've been needing for so long because Inigo's going to get old and Araujo and Christensen aren't good enough to be Kubarsi's duo. So we need someone else, okay? And what better than La Masia spawn? Especially Cospo. Guess how much we sell him for? First of all, we sold him, which is a wrong move in general. We did not need to sell him. Second of all, no buyback clause. Okay, no buyback clause at all whatsoever. Percent of future sale, I've been reading, it's not even more than 30%. It's not like 30% max. Permanent move, and guess how much? Less than 1 million. You heard, I didn't stutter. Less than 1 million for Cospo, one of the most talented center backs in the academy. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up with the stupid dumb club, with the stupid dumb sporting director Deco, bro. How did this guy get a job? How did he get a job at Barcelona? He's inexperienced and he just came out of nowhere just because he's a Barcelona legend and he was the agent of Rafinha. Why did we get this guy? By the way, bringing in Rafinha is the only good thing Deco has done for us ever since he's been involved with us in transfers. Signing Olmo for 60 million. We didn't even have to buy Olmo for 60 million. His price went up so high because of his euros. But if we were smart, if we could negotiate well, clearly you can see we cannot negotiate well. Clearly you can see we can't get the targets we want. We can't get Nico Williams because we can't promise him registration. We can't get Luis Diaz because he's too expensive and we need Luis Diaz to convince Liverpool, blah blah blah. We can't get Rafael Leao. We cannot get anyone we want because this club cannot negotiate with other clubs. This club overpay for every single transfer. They don't think when they're selling people, because you're telling me we sold Pablo Torre for less than 5 million. Less than 5 million. 5 million for Pablo Torre, who, by the way, he got 2 GA against Villarreal. Every game he played, he basically got a GA. He was averaging a GA every game, every time he got subbed on, and we sold him for 5 million. A talented player like him for 5 million. Just to make it clear, Real Madrid sold Nico Paz for 9 million, and they have way more than 9 million, and they have an 8 million buyback release clause. There's a huge difference between other clubs, like let's say Chelsea. Maybe they have the money to spend a lot of transfers, but if you look at the way they sell, If you look at Dortmund, the way they sell talent, they know they value their talent really high. And that's Dortmund. And we're looking at Barcelona, who is the club best known for creating talent. They're the best known club for creating talent, and we sell them for 5 million euros and less than 1 million. Why? Why? Juan Laporta. Juan Laporta. You have always lied to us since you became president. You said you were going to renew Messi. That did not happen. You said you were going to sign as Erling Haaland. That did not happen. And of course, I don't expect it to happen next year either. You said you were going to bring Barca back to the 1-for-1 rule for the past 2-3 years. You said the Nike deal was done. You said we're going to sign Nico Williams. All those 5 things you said, so far, not a single one of them has happened. And we're still waiting for it to happen. I know you've done good things for us financially. Like, we were $1.3 billion in debt when you came in, and now we're in a decent place, I guess you could say. According to you, we're in the 1-for-1 rule, but we know that's not true. You have given us so much financially, but if you don't fix up with these signings that you make, we could have been in the 1-for-1 rule if you knew how to make proper signings, if you knew how to sell players properly. And that's not entirely your fault, because that's the job of the Haiwan sporting director Deco, bro. He's a Haiwan. Oh my gosh, bro. Deco, there's so much I want to say about you. Like, I don't want to make this video too long, but you are the worst sporting director Barcelona has ever had. You are the worst sporting director Barcelona has ever had. There's not one crazy signing you've made for us. Rooney Bardghji is the only good signing you've done for us. And Juan Garcia. But Juan Garcia had a release clause. You didn't have to negotiate for that. You didn't have to negotiate for Juan Garcia. He had a release clause. Rooney was the only good signing you've ever made. Out of Rooney, Olmo, and Bardghji, he's been the only good signing that we can all look at and say, good job, Deco. Olmo has 60 million. Why would you pay that release clause? Why would you pay almost 60 million release clause without even trying to negotiate with them? You didn't even try to negotiate with them. You went to Leipzig. 1 minute later, we go from Fabrizio. You just straight up paid the release clause. Try to negotiate for once, bro. Because if you had any sense, you would know Olmo's an injury-prone player. He didn't have the best season at Leipzig. I think he was on his last year for his contract. And you signed him for 60 million. Are you... Barcelona are a great team. They have a great manager. They have a great squad. They have great young talent like Pedri, Yamal. They have Rafinha. They have Lewa. They have Pedri. They have De Jong. They have Gavi. They have Fermin. Oh, I didn't even talk about that yet. So, apparently, after Xavi left, Fermin was going to leave the club. Barcelona were planning to sell Fermin Lopez, so we know how talented he is. I rate Fermin Lopez so highly. He's an amazing player. Barcelona were about to sell him to another club until Hansi Flick came in and he said, no, don't sell him. What are you guys doing? You guys are making a mistake. This guy is untouchable. He's a real talent. And then after that, Barcelona decided not to sell him. So if it wasn't for Hansi Flick, we would have lost a gem in Fermin Lopez. Just think about that. And how much do you think Barcelona would have sold him for? Let's be honest. How much do you think Barcelona would have sold it for? Because he's a 60-70 million type of player. In today's market, he is, in my opinion. He's a 60-70 million type of player. We would have sold this guy for 25 million. I promise you 25 million, 30 million, something like that. And we would have even tried to negotiate. Barcelona are a great team with great potential. But as long as we continue to have a sporting director like Deco, who's still on about Luis Diaz, who sold this guy for less than 1 million with no buyback clause, I don't think we're going to get really far squad-wise. I don't think we're going to get really far financial-wise. But I really want to make this video because I've been wanting to talk about this brainless Deco for so long. Feels good getting off my chest. Thank you guys so much for watching. The Club World Cup final is about to start. I might do a match review for it. I might not. I don't even know. But yeah, I'm sorry for not being really, active for YouTube. the news have been dry about Barcelona. You saw yesterday I made a Casado video to Man United. Like, there's been so much rumors about Casado, but that's a big rumor. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. Barca fans, let me know. Let me know, how do you feel about Deco? How do you feel about Joan Laporta? How do you feel about these sales we made for Cospa, a really talented center back? How do you feel about us having an option of Christopher Nkunku in the Big 25? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.